welcome back to the New Try podcast. My name is Bashar, as you guys already know. This is my co-host, Amin, and we have a new guest for you today. I'm going to let her introduce herself because she has the podcast voice.
Hello. My name's Hebron. Super excited to be here. This spot is dope. If you haven't been here in person, you have to come for sure because this is a really cool spot. I've been geeking out about it for like the past 30 minutes.
We appreciate it, as always. Subscribe, follow, get on the Instagram, get on the YouTube. It doesn't take much to show love. So,
and it's much appreciated. So,
and it's free. It's really free, you know. So get to it.
FREE.
Yeah, shit. Welcome back though. As far as your podcast, right? You got a podcast going, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. How recent is that? How's that going?
So I started a podcast called Meaningful Riches.
Okay.
I started it back in June, I believe. And I've been on
was it just back in June 2020?
No, so I've actually been wanting to start a podcast for like literally since I was like maybe 18, like freshman year of college. And it really just stemmed from the fact that like my friends and I, do you guys ever have those moments where you're like sitting with your friends having conversation and it's literally like, I wish I could share this with someone because you just had something, like someone said something super insightful or like
a light bulb
epiphany.
idea.
Yeah, like I wish I recorded it even for myself. And it kind of started off as that. And there was actually a couple of times where like, because we had a multimedia hub at our school, so I would rent out like the little gig and stuff to try to record, and it just never worked out because as soon as you put microphones in front of people, everybody just gets hella awkward.
That's how I am. That is how I am. But at least you know, it's been a progress. But I don't get shy at all. But it's just I can't really speak the type of wisdom that I speak.
That you normally do.
Yeah, so it gets a little jittery. But, you know, at the same time, you got to be able to just, you know, stay comfortable, stay cool. And then, you know, as the podcast goes on, it usually gets better. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, with the guests and the people that you bring on, you have to inspire that courage to speak up, right? And that comfort to say what you want and speak as if it's just you guys talking normally.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's a big, huge first step. And it's something you just have to practice, and you have to tell people that over time you'll get. Right?
Yeah, and I think, I mean, this goes for pretty much anything people start, but especially when it comes to sharing with other people put so much pressure on it. And it's like, okay, I normally have great conversations, but that's because there's not like, okay, we have to talk about A, B, C, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as soon as you start doing that, it's like, it puts this weird tension on it that people can't act like normally anymore. So what's helped me is kind of just like keeping it casual. I mean, I recorded pretty much every episode that I've done. I've only done 4 already.
That's still a lot.
That's
still a lot.
That's a lot.
Round of applause, right?
that's more than what we got.
We're still shooting.
I've been.
This is our 4th one, actually. Welcome to the 4th episode.
That's what's up.
Keep shooting.
How long ago did you guys start?
Oh, man.
About the same time as you.
Okay.
About the same time as you, but we're a little behind, as you can tell. Honestly, you know, like this episode, literally, this is what I wanted to talk about is what it takes to run a podcast. And I'm talking about production. I'm talking about editing. I'm talking about posting and interacting with people. I'm talking about A to Z, you know? And as somebody who's responsible for majority of, you know, the content editing or the content production, other than just the film portion of the podcast. This friend of mine.
Oh, was that shade?
Yeah, that was a little shade. He
Shade
got a 9
there.
to 5. I ain't gonna lie.
Are you just gonna take that?
9 to 5.
I accept it.
People are hella busy. You know, 9 to 5 people are hella busy. But you know, I'm not a 9 to 5
I'm living a
guy.
good life.
The 9 to 5 people.
I'm living a great life.
Yeah. We love that.
We love that for you. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Go 9 to 5ers. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate
Clearly,
you.
Bashar is not a 9 to 5er, a 9 to 5er, whatever.
You know what's funny? Actually, me and Hebron actually met through our it wasn't my first 9 to 5, but it was my first 9 to 5 in corporate.
Okay.
Right? And was it the same for you?
Yeah, that was my first job out of college. And I was really excited going in because like it's your first job, like big girl job or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the name of the company or anything because I don't want to like throw shade, but like it definitely wasn't the experience that I was expecting.
Yeah.
Maybe because I had so many expectations on it. But the good thing is I met Bashar out of it. I met Augustus out of it, which is also a good friend of mine. Shout out Augustus if you're watching this.
Yeah, Melro. Shout
yeah,
out to
there was a lot of
Crystal.
I mean, I knew Crystal beforehand too, but it was nice to kind of like connect with people again.
Well, can you guys just, from an outside perspective, tell us what you guys did at this job? Or I guess, did it also, for me, an important question is, did it relate to what you went to school for?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
What? I was doing insurance. We were selling insurance. Okay, I went to school for supply chain
Literally, that's
management.
the part that pissed me off because we were in like a 6-week training, right? And I was like, why did I go to school? Why was I in school? Everything you needed to know for the job was taught to you in 6 weeks. It was a sales job, insurance sales.
It's horrible.
No. So, and then how long did you guys stay there?
That's my biggest take on it.
Did you feel at like when you first started and you were going through the process of the orientation, right? And then the training, that initial training. At what point, how far along were you when you realized that this shit was
it was pretty early on, but I just stuck through it.
Yeah. I kind of...
Bashar was the one that made me stay, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
This dude was so optimistic.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And that turned into depression early 2020. This is what happened.
I'll never forget that.
This is what happened, right? I came in, I was like, oh, we finna make money with this job, right? Because, the interview, they amped us. They told us, they told us so much that didn't make sense. They told us that, we would be selling applications like insurance. Yeah. So for each application we wrote, meaning each application we did, we would get paid $30 to $50 between that amount. You know what I mean?
Like a bonus on top of your.
I don't even think it was that much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, later we found. Let me tell you the story, right?
Okay.
So then
I'm jumping ahead here.
Yeah, we jump right into it. We start producing as we're supposed to, and then there's in this job there's a normal time, and then there's the busy time, which is the enrollment time. You know what I mean? So majority of the time, what we're doing is we're sitting down, we're doing, we're selling applications, and then we're getting paid the same amount during the first couple of quarters. The last quarter is where they would pay you differently, right? And that's where you would make majority of your money because that's the enrollment period. That's when everybody.
It's like 3 months worth of all the sales that you made, basically.
Exactly. How many hours were you working a week when that was going on?
Right.
It
was quite. But Bashar was going in
74 hours in 1 week.
Okay, that's one side of it, right? 74 hours. How many hours were you working on average at that point?
I would say probably 50 to 60.
Okay, so you still had somewhat of a life outside of work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not really, because by the time you got home, it was like peak winter too.
That's
so.
True.
This is a perfect example to a conversation that I saw earlier. That's why women get paid less, guys.
Oh my God.
Because they don't work as many hours.
No, absolutely not.
on average, though, I'm sure you have to add that.
But listen, I kind of played it smart, though, because you grinded that much to almost get paid the
same amount.
So who really won? Who really won here?
Women are running the world. Okay,
yeah, they're thinking smart.
Yeah.
They're getting
Work
ahead.
Smarter, not harder.
Yeah. So, and I quit, bro. Honestly, like, that job I quit in January of 2020. I quit.
Yep, that's when I quit.
And
too.
I haven't worked a job since. I've been literally
clearly
scarred,
that left a bad taste in his mouth.
Scarred because of that business. But I mean, they did. I'm not gonna lie. It was a good experience for as a job in general. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't really the best job as somebody who was coming out of education. I had 2 bachelor's degrees. You know what I mean? So I was expecting something to pop off in the right direction, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what did you go to school for then at that point?
I went for healthcare management.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it was relatively in the same area, like insurance. Yeah. I remember like during the training when they were training on certain topics, I was like, okay, I remember this from some of my classes, but it definitely wasn't. You know what though? I'm not going to talk down on it because
you learned.
I definitely did, and also like. Each job leads to the next one and eventually the place that you're supposed to be. Because if I hadn't had that job, I wouldn't have quit when I was supposed to. I wouldn't have had like the period of time that I needed to actually search and find something that works for me. And like now the job that I have, like no complaints. Like it's hard, but like I love the people I work with. I love the company. So it was definitely a good teaching experience for me too. And also like I met good people there that are, part of my network now that, you can still reach out to and can still move you in the right direction. So
Yeah, you still hang out with Crystal, huh?
I do, yeah. We just went to New York together.
Yeah, I seen the picture. That's why I was like, oh, that's
I knew
dope.
Crystal before then, though.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I met her when I was still in school in Duluth, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me.
You went
You
to
guys
UMD?
kind of had...
I did, yeah.
That sounds fun, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I went to St. Thomas, but I
Okay.
spent a lot of time in northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota.
Really? What were you doing there?
Up in northern Minnesota,
Mhm.
just like the outdoors. It's beautiful.
Okay. It is beautiful, yeah. I didn't see much of it come winter because I was like,
In the tunnels.
the tunnels, there were times where like you probably wouldn't step outside for like weeks on end. Like especially if you're in a freshman, like living on campus, like you really had no reason to leave. But
And then where did you grow up before that? Before going to Duluth?
So I was originally born in Ethiopia in Addis, and then
Shout out to Ethiopia and Addis,
shout out my people, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Better
some
times
of us
are
were
coming.
born there too. I wasn't born
Yeah.
in Ethiopia, but
You were born in Ethiopia?
I was born in Harar.
Oh, okay.
Same here.
You were born in Ethiopia?
Yeah.
This
We're all
was not-
Ethiopian.
This guy was born in Cayo, Somali.
I'm like shook right now.
No, actually, I was actually born in Ethiopia. I was born near, Jijiga.
Where
No.
did that
It's the Ogaden region in
Oh, okay.
Ethiopia. You know what I mean? It's the previous Somali region. But I mean, it was definitely an experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do not play with my papers, man. You play with my papers.
Yeah, we gonna have to check that. We gonna have to check.
He's trying to play with my legal status, but listen.
Oh, yikes.
I'm already a citizen. They
Hopefully
can't
the
do nothing
feds
about
aren't
it.
watching this.
They can't do nothing about it.
They
I'm
are,
already
but
a
they're
citizen.
not worried. Not worried.
But that job was definitely lit. I'm glad we both left. But it definitely taught us a lot of important lessons about, the fact that you're not going to get a job in your field right out of school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's
can
different
vary.
for everybody. Yeah.
can vary.
Yeah.
I think
But
you can.
I would say maybe to just not have unrealistic expectations, because I definitely did. Like, you expect like your first job out of college is just going to be like uphill, but it's more like you know what I mean?
It was
Not downhill, but it's like ebb and flow. You're gonna have your high points and your low points. So
yeah.
No, I think you can go in with the expectation of finding a role for you right out the bat, but I think the expectation alongside of that is that you're gonna do so much research and so much understanding that by the time you graduate, that you start to line it up, right? Like the amount of input that goes into it and the amount of work that goes into it before you graduate, of finding the role, interviewing, doing all of this research, having the right network. And
what was your experience like post-grad, first job post-grad?
first, I'm still with the same company.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, see, you got lucky.
True 9-to-5er over here, yo.
No, I
That's
think
true
it-
9-to-5er.
it
How
lined
long
up
has it
for
been?
me.
No, I mean, yeah, it
5.5
worked.
years.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah.
5 years of me working.
That's
but
really
at
dope.
that point, it's like I went into it thinking, this is a role at this company that I want to work for. I'm going to start there. And then when I thought about leaving, I went through the process of thinking about leaving, applying elsewhere, getting an offer somewhere else. But luckily, things aligned for me to be able to stay and grow there. And I had a support system there that was willing to sort of supplement anything that I was asking for.
That's dope. I'm really glad you had that experience, because that's rare, honestly. So that's dope.
It's two sides though. I think you can't go in with the expectation that everything is going to be there for you when you want it. It's going to be a lot of you lining up things for yourself and working towards what you want. Because out the bat, unless you've been doing a lot of work beforehand, a lot of things to line up, unless you know who to reach out to, who to work with prior to it, it's going to be a lot of things on yourself to make things happen.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
Most definitely. I couldn't agree more. As far as expectations, I didn't really have too high of expectations. I just was looking for cheddar.
That's a
sound
pretty
like a
high
mouse.
expectation.
It
though.
sounds like a mouse.
No, I was looking for 60 plus. I was saying nothing very, nothing extensive. You know what I mean? And I think it definitely got close to that goal. But we definitely left before I left before I completed a year.
Yeah.
But it was definitely, and then after that, I haven't worked since. It's been 2 years, and it's been it's been a good time. I ain't gonna lie, it's been a blessing. Thank the Lord for everything. You know what I mean?
Amen. Amen.
Yeah, I might go back to being a true 9-to-5er actually soon as a cybersecurity specialist. I'm not gonna say the company's name because I haven't gotten the job yet.
It's
gonna be embarrassing.
Speak it into existence.
Otherwise, it would have been embarrassing. But we're around the corner.
Damn, I wish he would have said it.
So
I'll find out and share later.
I would have cut it out in production since I do the editing and production and everything. Instead, I don't do a lot. But yeah. So tell us more about. What is it like to run a podcast?
Sorry,
you know
I
what
keep
I mean?
coughing,
And
guys.
the name, you have such a beautiful name as far as your podcast and your actual name as well.
Oh, thank you.
Her name is like LeBron's name with just the H there.
That's
Yeah,
what makes
yeah,
it
yeah.
beautiful.
You know what I mean?
No, you know what's
No,
funny?
it's very
Literally,
unique, you know?
anytime I'm in like a crowded space where people can't really hear me, or like if someone keeps asking me how to say my name, I'm like, it's like LeBron, but with an H, Hebron. That's been my go-to since I was like freaking 10 years old.
She said that to me. I was like, I got
You
that.
got it.
Hebron. Easy. If it was an R there, Rebron. Easy. You know what I mean? Whichever one is there. But Hebron, that name's actually older than LeBron. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, of course. It's a biblical name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in the Bible. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Read your Bible, people. You know what I'm saying? Read your Bible.
Yeah. So the name, actually, that was like the thing that kept me from starting my podcast for so long. It took me for not only to find a name, but to find a name that someone else doesn't already own or have a website built for. So difficult because you don't want to pick a podcast name that's like already saturated. Even if it's not saturated, like if they only have like 2-3 episodes out with your podcast name on it, like when you Google it, it's not going to be yours that comes up. So,
and they take the Instagram handles, the Twitter
they take
handles.
everything. So yeah, every name that I actually like really fell in love with, I would Google it to see if anybody else had, and they always did. And I just didn't resonate with a lot for a while. And it wasn't until 2020 hey, shout out Tanya, man. Shout out Tanya, because if it wasn't for you, this podcast name really wouldn't exist. You don't know this story, but shout out Tanya.
Tanya.
She doesn't know the story, but
She doesn't know
to her.
It does,
Okay,
because
wow, that's good.
so I was reaching out to Tanya because she had posted on her story of like this devotional that she was reading every day. And I asked her for it, and I found it on Amazon, ordered this devotional. So it just has like a scripture, Bible scripture, and then, lessons or whatever. And I flipped to the page for that day, and the title was Meaningful Riches.
Really?
Yeah. And I read like
Great.
the lesson point or whatever. And it was talking about finding our wealth and riches in life in things of God, and things like to store our riches in heaven, basically.
Wow.
And then I was like, this is it. This is the podcast name.
Wow.
And yeah. And I Googled it, everything. Like nobody else had the name. I just like real quick bought the domain, everything. I was like, say less. That's my podcast name.
And then through that, I'm still guessing you into the other devotions each every day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good, right? And then
I stopped right there.
You found through God what you needed.
Oh, yeah. Very transactional.
She's like, thank you, God. That's all I needed.
Literally.
I'll be back next time we need something. But
That's amazing. That's a great story, though. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a huge way of finding it. I think we had some similar ways of finding our original name. And
actually, yeah,
was
we
the
had a whole
problem.
Yeah,
name.
let's hear the story. What
We
happened?
had a whole name, Dreams to Reality Podcast. We had dreams. We were turning them into to reality. You know what I'm saying? But
I'm dead.
but
to real realities, to real.
yeah. But those dreams became saturated instead. You know what I'm saying? Because the name
Real
was saturated.
Yeah.
The name was taken on Twitter, Instagram. You think about it, Twitch,
Two
everything.
times,
You know,
two times.
Yeah.
it was taken twice, if not more. You know what I mean? Even we did D2.
So you didn't realize this until
D2P?
after you started creating like everything for the
I mean,
podcast?
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah.
to that extent. I mean, we created all the handles, all of the logins. But when we first searched and did our market research, there was about maybe one other.
no. Actually, there was like another 50. But the thing is, we were like, okay, there's only one that has substantial following.
Okay.
And that one had like 1,000 plus. I'm like, we could outbeat them. You know what I mean?
Oh, you don't want to compete though.
But listen, right?
I really
So
liked
then I put up our first episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to go search it to see if I can find it, right? Because obviously you're gonna tell people Dreams to Reality, episode 1, go get to us, right? And then people would be like, yeah, bro, we didn't find it. I searched it up myself. Guess what? There was like 60 of them ahead of ours.
Oh.
So then I was like, you know what? we're gonna keep going. You know, persistence is the key in life, right? But we could only be persistent for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that also led to us not making as many episodes as we should have for people that had the space since July. You know what I mean? So then, you know, we had to take a break. We took October off, like many months, right? Many other months. And then, you know, this New Tribe podcast name came out of nowhere, but it kind of fit what we were looking for. New Tribe is all about, you know, making a new you know, rebranding yourself, right? As well as getting to your dreams and, you know, turning them into reality. So now what we have is we have two segments. We have our you know, our inspirational segment, which is us and the people that come on here to inspire us, like yourself. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
that's sweet.
Yeah, doing big things, getting to 4 episodes before us, right? But and then we have that, and then we have one where we talk about just different topics. You know, whether it's like, you know, different topics that are currently taking place around the world.
Current events.
Yeah, current events, exactly. And then that's fun as well. We haven't done much of that, but you know, stay tuned in for that, because we're definitely on the way with that. But as far as your progression, right? So now you're at 4 podcasts. How has the production been? I'm going to stop mentioning the name.
No, let's stop downplaying 4 though.
No, 4 is
a
a
huge
lot.
accomplishment.
Listen,
4 is more than the average person, right?
You know what?
listen.
Yes.
I swear to God, we're at 3, and I'm so proud of it, because I have done some.
Yo, I be going back to those 4 episodes like this is my baby right here.
I'm like, this is the content we got to everybody, and then people will be like, yeah, it looks like you got little content, but I'm like, bro, y'all don't know. It's so much packed into that content.
But I will say though, like the key to podcast success, like sometimes even over material is consistency.
Yeah.
And I've definitely been slacking on that. But like, because it matters more that you're releasing on a consistent basis than it does if your episode's dope.
Yeah.
But you're releasing once every 2, 3, 4 months.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to build a consistent audience. So that's kind of the downfall there. But I'm definitely working on that.
So after you came up through that conversation about finding the name and then moving towards, actually, wait, let's have Bashar light the candle first.
Oh,
Hold
okay.
on.
So it's already hot as hell in here.
It's hot in here, so just in case it gets funky, the candle.
Oh my God.
But hey, the key is no movements. Relax, guys. I'm just kidding.
It really is. It's pretty toasty. You know what? It's probably the lights.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. It means breath has something to do with it as
What?
well. It's contributing just a small amount, you know what I mean, to global warming and everything across the board. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just playing. So tell us. So like you do audio based podcasts. Are you thinking about in the future adding video as well? Because that's definitely gonna add to the amount of work. You know what I mean?
It will, but I think it adds more to the quality of the content too. But right now I'm just focusing more on like audio and making sure that's consistent and like of good quality too. Plus it's a lot easier to edit audio than it is to edit audio and video, because you can chop up audio and edit it and make it seem like there were no type of breaks or cuts. But when you're editing video and there's like suddenly you're jumping from one thing to another, it can look like, oh, what happened there? But yeah, I definitely want to do that because, you know, putting on YouTube and stuff, that opens up like a whole new audience there too. So
yeah, no, YouTube is dope. Like just like you were saying earlier, you know, it's all about minding the algorithm, and the algorithm likes to be fed at least 2 videos a week, right? No, I read about this. Trust me, right? I got the information. Let me give you all the information right here. 2 videos a week. You got to be funny, right? And you got to make eye contact with the video, which is what I'm doing right now. But yeah, I just can't even tell.
Eyes. Yeah,
I just can't see my eyes because, you know, I'm in a different place.
You just got to trust him. Oh,
in a different time. You know what I mean?
What planet are you on, bro?
I am no.
Planet Z.
I'm just circling Mars. You like this?
It's called orbiting. Orbiting is the word.
Circling, because the planet is a circle.
Easy. Bro, I'm going to go with orbiting on this one.
We're going to go with NASA's.
He's still in school.
Yes, I am. Thank God. You know what I mean? And if you keep talking shit, I'm going to hack your shit by the end of this episode. But yeah, let's reframe the conversation. So Yeah. So what are you doing as far as your personal life? And like, are you back in school? Like, where are you working now? As far as like, what do you do? Not maybe where are you working? You know?
Yeah,
Keep
so
that part
when
out
did
the
you
video.
graduate? I guess is the other thing because you said you went.
So I graduated May of 2019. First of all, time flies so fast because it doesn't even feel like it's been like 2 years. I'm about to be 25 in January.
Nope.
No, it's crazy that you graduated right before the pandemic too.
I know. I feel
And
like
you
I lost
graduated-
2 years of my life.
Yeah, and
Like,
at that time though, when you graduated, we didn't know anything about it. We only started knowing
No.
more about it until like
you know what's
December,
funny?
November.
Yeah, I went to New York again, of course. That same. That January before COVID kind of like went left. And I was on the flight and like it was just starting to be in the news and stuff, and I was sick then too. I feel like I'm always sick now. This is so stupid. But I was coughing on the plane and people were like turning their heads like, yo, like, but even then people were wearing masks like everywhere.
Did you know about it then?
I knew about it, but I didn't know that it was going to be what it was. Like, I didn't think 2 years down the line I'd still be.
Yeah, I feel like definitely.
COVID.
Yeah, I think definitely, you know, the U.S. media failed once again when it came to this because they didn't prepare us. They didn't really understand
Trump
how much of an
didn't
impact.
understand.
Yeah, how much
Governments knew.
how much of an impact it was having in China. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for
we
sure.
should have definitely seen more of that information because the way that this thing has been going, like you said, you feel like you lost 2 years of your life.
Yeah, I mean,
Same
like,
here.
I'm still grateful because I
Yeah.
never got COVID. I'm still healthy, I'm still doing well, which is nice. But also,
Yeah.
like, social life wise, it's funny to think,
Yeah.
like, okay, where would we actually be if COVID hadn't happened? Like, would I still be doing what I'm doing? I don't know. I might
Yeah.
not be. But I'm kind of grateful because it was out of COVID that I actually had the time to, like, think about more passion projects like the podcast. It was during that time that I was able to spend more time doing photography, which is something that I love too. So it was a blessing in disguise too in many ways. I'm not going to say, I was happy for it because a lot of people suffered, obviously, but just personal life wise, I definitely genuinely became a different person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think most people have. I think
Yeah.
going into it prior to that, I think many of us, because I graduated in June 2016.
Mhm.
And so like up until that point, I think I was just experiencing the early years of my career, like in the early years of adulthood.
Yeah.
And I got to really experience it. I got to enjoy it, and then go through that whole experience. And then when the pandemic hit, I was thinking maybe this will only last 2 weeks.
Oh, that's
That was
what I
my
thought.
initial thought.
Yeah.
Around when it started getting more and more into the U.S. media. But prior to that, we were reading reports, like in November and December. Me, you, Far, are reading reports about what's going on in China, and we're thinking, is this possible? Is it really going to affect us here?
Mhm.
This is when you're still at Optum and you're leaving Optum.
Yeah, this is when I was working 70 hours a week. Yeah.
And you were going through that whole experience, and we're thinking, is this really going to happen? Is this really going to happen? And then February hit, and I was like, okay, this is really
Wait,
gonna
you
happen.
guys knew about it back then when we were still at.
Yeah, we were
reading, like, off news about it.
yeah, because like, the other thing is like majority of my friends are gamers, so they're they're
Oh,
they're
okay.
gaming against like people
and we're
around the
talking
world,
about
Mhm.
it.
and they're talking about it. And the other thing is, we just always talk about things that are going on around the world just to kind of understand it better.
Yeah.
But we definitely didn't see that to being what it was, because if I did, I would have shorted the S&P 500. Like, there's no tomorrow.
bro, the
Yeah.
stocks, the stocks. Can we just talk about the stocks for a minute? If
Yes.
if I knew, actually, you could say this about any time
Yeah.
period. Like, if I knew what I knew now, then, bro, I'm so salty about that. Literally, you
Yeah.
could have closed your eyes and put your money in anything,
Yeah.
And you would have been a
and
millionaire.
you would have made money.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers actually asked us an interesting question about that. He asked us if we could all restart the pandemic right now, knowing what we know now, would we? But
Like,
then-
for another 2 years, or like go back in
yeah,
time?
like go back in time and you'd experience
Yes.
it all again.
Oh,
too.
100%.
But at the same
Yes.
time, though, you'd experience people dying though too.
But is it the
of-
same?
I had
I'm
a
not
lot
gonna
of
say
You
that
gotta
on the
take that. That's what
podcast.
I'm saying. So you take that responsibility on. You go through that. So
No,
I had
wait,
the
wait,
exact
wait.
same reaction.
But you know
initially.
what? My answer would actually be yes if it's
Still
gonna
gonna
play
happen.
out the
Yeah.
same exact
No, it
way.
could-
And
it
the only
could-
difference
things
is
could
me.
change, though. Things
Yeah.
could change.
Actually,
So-
you're right though. I don't
so-
know.
That's
If-
the
That's
thing
hard.
about it, yeah.
If, like she said, if it was gonna play out the way that I know it has been playing out, right?
Yeah.
I would definitely
Oh,
do it
100%
again.
I would go back.
Because it's not like nothing's gonna change if I stay here. If I do it, I'm gonna be a millionaire. So
Just buy a
you know
couple
what I'm saying?
bitcoins.
Bishar is basically saying my life would change.
Bro, I
Hopefully
was
nobody else's
investing in
life would
Bitcoin
change.
in 2017. I was investing in Bitcoin in 2016 even.
Oh, I didn't. I was not aware of even. Well, I knew of it then, but not enough to actually put my money in.
Tesla was at $200 in the beginning of the pandemic. I repeat, Tesla was at $200 at the beginning of the pandemic. You know what that means? Dude, I didn't know much. Well, actually, I knew a lot about stocks, but I didn't, I wasn't really trading stocks at the moment. What I was trading was cryptocurrency. Remember, I used to show you
all the time
when we used to be in the training course, right?
That was our lunch breaks was talking about crypto.
I was making like 6-7K.
Wish I was flexing a little bit.
Yeah, that too. You know what I'm saying? Gotta flex on these females.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
My name is Bashar. I'm trading Bitcoin.
No, I kid you not. Somebody's legitimately like introduced themselves to me that way. Hi, I own Bitcoin. I'm like, that's great.
I own Bitcoin? Oh, that's wild. You gotta be humble, yo. No matter what you own, you still just a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But definitely, the stocks was going crazy. We started a Discord. Hebron was one of the people in our Discord, and like we were teaching people about options trading, which is a form of stock trading, and this is literally right. So the way things work, I quit that job. I didn't work at all for almost an entire year. Then I started trading in August. Within the first 20 days, I had made like 70K in one day from just stocks. Imagine if I was trading, and this is the time when Softbox was in the stock market as well. They came in with a whole $1 billion and corrupted the entire stock market. No one knew what the hell was going on.
The thing is, I don't know that we'll, in our lifetime, ever experience that type of...
We're going to experience it again.
In our lifetime? I don't think so.
Nah. I
think that level of like
affecting the
volatility, I don't know.
No. Not especially.
No, we're talking about like what's going to happen. Like
no, I would say there's still going to be a level of ambiguity behind it. Yeah. I think we'll experience.
I hope we don't, low key.
No, I don't think we will, bro.
If experiencing it again means we have to go through another pandemic or like something crazy like that, I don't want to experience it again. Please and thank you.
No. I would not want to experience it because it takes away time from your life. Like you just said, it seems like we just missed out on 2 years of our lives.
We experienced something very similar in 2008.
I blame Donald Trump.
Well, I mean, I didn't because at that point, like I'm young. You know what I mean?
If you mean like us being within that same, of course not. No.
Are you saying 2008 was the same as the pandemic?
Oh, no, absolutely not though. Yeah,
there were similarities, but it was not overall.
As far as the crash wise, the 2008 one might have been able to get predicted, but as far as the COVID one, I mean, a child could have said, "Oh, this is gonna hit us hard." The thing is, we didn't have enough information. Donald Trump was lying every single day about everything. So like, there was so much misinformation. I mean, the media lies all the time. You know what I mean? My take on it.
Let's talk about the WhatsApp misinformation, though.
Oh my God, there's so much.
I'll never forget. I saw a post on there that literally was like African parents back home telling their kids to put like peeled onions in the corners of every room to rid themselves of COVID. I'm like, bro.
I've heard of people drinking piss to rid themselves.
People were drinking bleach.
Okay, no, literally, our president was literally telling people to like drink sanitizer.
He's like, I mean, guys, a little bleach, I heard, is good for it. But I mean, who's gonna say that? I'm not gonna say that to you guys because they don't want you guys to know.
It'll kill the germs, but it might also kill you. So
the biggest shock to me though throughout the whole thing was when he actually got it, and then they took him to the hospital in DC, right? Yeah. And he asked the
oh my God, yes,
to give him a ride around so he could wave to all of his supporters and fans. I was like, at that moment, I knew life was not real.
Bro, as a stock trader, as somebody who considers themselves as a stock trader, I would definitely vote for Donald Trump if I had the opportunity to vote again. Because what's going on right now? We voted for a guy who has Alzheimer's, that has forgotten everything he promised us as black people. They just passed the
infrastructure bill.
No, not the infrastructure bill, but the Chinese hate crime bill. I mean, Chinese hate crime. I understand Chinese have been
this might be some of the controversial stuff you might have to.
Yeah, no, not necessarily, honestly, because I have a good opinion. I do think that the Chinese should have, the Asians should have gotten some sort of a bill in place.
No, I agree. Yeah. Because anytime it comes down to like African American or like black people, the progression is so slow. That's why people get so angry because it's like, not to say other people shouldn't have equal rights and like their own benefits and stuff. Obviously they should. It's supposed to be a progressing nation. But why is it it always seems to be progressing for everybody else except for Black people.
Yeah.
And even if it is progressing, it's like so much slower.
You know what's crazy? There's anti-lynching laws. Bills that have been passed long time ago, right? Because lynching was happening around the 60s. That's when it was prominent, you know? But yeah, the 60s all the way from like 1850s to 1960s maybe. But in that time, you know, that's when lynching was going crazy, and then people did bills. Those bills have not passed. There's even George Floyd bill, right? Where is Biden on that? Where is Kamala Harris, who's supposedly Black? I don't see it. You know what I mean? She's brown. She's from
Oh my God.
she's from India.
Our expectations.
You know what I
goes
mean?
back to our conversation earlier about expectations. Like, you have expectations about when you go to a school for 4 years and you graduate with a degree.
Yeah.
You expect to work a certain role.
But yeah, just to finish my point from earlier about Kamala Harris, I'm not trying to say anything bad about brown people, but I'm just saying that sometimes even brown people don't identify as Black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it really, you know, it takes a certain amount of experience and education to be able to understand what Black people have gone through in this country. And to actually identify as Black, that means to understand that struggle and to advocate for it to end, you know. And we've seen, you know, presidents pass, nobody has done anything about it.
But you know what? I have a rebuttal for that, because I think the mistake a lot of people make is almost placing like the presidency as the holy grail. In all honesty, the president doesn't have that much power.
Yes.
He's like the person you look to as your leader. But
simple.
Yeah, but like people go and vote for their president every 4 years, and they expect everything to change. But it's like, okay, you might have changed the president, but you didn't change any of the people below them that are actually making the decisions. Like, nobody's showing up to their local elections. Nobody's showing up for their state elections. And then you show up to vote for a president that has to fight through all these different
individuals,
points because everybody has opposing views. Like, if you really care to get these things changed and done, vote for the people within your local communities, because that trickles upward. It doesn't work the other way down, the other way around.
I think what Bashar is sort of leading to and sort of touching on is more along the lines of we sort of have the two branches. If you want to think about the legislative branch and think about the executive branch, we have those aligned with the same political party, right? We had that aligned in the past 4 years with the Republican Party, and a lot was changing. You know, they didn't really hold back in that sense.
A lot for changing for who though? That's the question.
For that party and the individuals that support that party. Yes, that's what we're getting. But now when the tide is shifted and you have it more blue, the same amount of changes aren't working in our favor or working in the favor for those that are supporting them.
Okay.
You know?
So let me make this point. That's why I don't support neither parties.
Also, it's kind of silly too, because sorry to interrupt you, but like it's like going back and forth. So say you match up the Republicans, the next time it's both the Democrat, and they just undo what they did, and then the next one comes and redoes what the previous one did. So it's like you don't really end up getting anywhere that quickly.
That's true. Donald Trump tried to take out the Obamacare bill, which is the only thing good that Obama did, honestly, if you ask me. But so to pretty much restate what I was about to state right just a second ago,
restate what I was about to state.
Yeah, I actually didn't state it. But anyway, y'all gonna hear it now. You know what I'm saying? But Congress is obviously, you know, what we want from Biden is not, you know, something that involves Congress and everybody. It involves an executive order, and it could take place at, you know what I mean, at no time. He can do it right now. The same way he did it for the Asian crime bill, you know what I mean, or Asian hate bill, you know, that he passed. What we're asking for is the executive order, just like, what we were asking Obama from, right? Even though he didn't do it, right? Obama was a smart mouth president, but he was really not doing anything for Black people. And so is Biden, you know what I mean? So we got to hold these individuals accountable. But I definitely understand what you're saying. We also got to vote in our local elections, because those impact our local, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Day-to-day lives.
Yeah. And just right now, the mayor, the mayor election just took place.
Yep.
And Jacob Fry obviously won again. And the reason for that is because people didn't go out and vote. Jacob Fry does not have a spine, and he's not somebody who is able to run Minneapolis like it's supposed to be run. So
how do you get booed showing up to a protest?
And they tell you go home, Jacob, and then I would have grabbed the mic and said, I'm not going home. I'm the mayor here. I just wanted to clear a couple of things.
Now you sound like a dictator.
No. I'm saying as somebody who really, if you really care, when somebody tells you go home, then you're not gonna just go home.
Oh, did he actually go home? I didn't. See that.
He went home, bro. And he went to sleep. I'm assuming. But let's bring this back to you, right? Let's not get frustrated in politics. Yeah. But it's always good to discuss politics with different minds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Smart, educated, elegant minds. You know, like yourself. I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He's not giving me one compliment at all. Okay.
I don't give guys compliment. Don't give guys no compliment. Actually, don't even give girls no compliment either.
No. Let's talk about that first of all. Isn't it mental health awareness for men this month or something like that?
Oh yeah.
You gotta uplift your brothers. Come on now.
Actually, depression is terrible. Anxiety is horrible. All those mind things are terrible, right?
Mind things. Not mental. This is just mind things.
Everything involved.
In all seriousness though. Like,
no.
Actually,
I'm definitely gonna cut that part because we were joking.
Okay, I was gonna say.
That might have been the most savage part.
Literally. That sounded like mental health was a joke.
Shout out to everybody who's going through mental struggles. May you figure it out, because it does take.
You find help.
No. And also, figuring it out is also part of finding help. You know what I mean? And understanding that you need help. I've had anxiety before. I've had depression before. They didn't last for more than 3 months because
because I was able to find the support system I needed.
Oh my
and
God.
I was able to address my issues.
Deadass. I went to a therapist, right?
Oh, really?
And I realized that the whole therapy was just me talking, right? No. And I got so much out of it. So you know what I started doing? I started talking to myself in the shower, right?
You didn't talk to yourself before? Like, was therapy the thing that made you realize, okay, I need to have some inner dialogue? Yeah.
Definitely. And, like, it also taught me that, I don't have as much control over the world as I thought I did. Because at some point, you know what I mean?
I can just imagine Bashar, like, thinking he has control over everything and, like, wait.
Might go to agree right now.
Like, wait, I don't control that? What do you mean?
Not necessarily like a light, but definitely, like... I can change a light by hacking it, but that's neither here or there. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that. But anyway, but definitely, a lot of anxiety and depression has to do with control, and especially with people that think they have as much control as myself. You know what I mean? I had A to Z. I had A to Z planned. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this job. I'm gonna make this amount of money. Right? Figured out that I wasn't gonna make that amount of money. Terrible feeling, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
And then I put in 70 hours a week for that. You know what I mean? I was mentally frustrated on a weekly basis because I was working 70 plus hours.
Yeah.
All jokes aside, it hit me. You know what I mean? Right after that, I left that job. I was like, did I go to school for 4 years and end up getting a worthless degree? You know what I mean? And because I had to work at a job that had no meaning to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, I was able to figure it out after I left the job. I was able to mind myself and kind of spend a lot of time with myself. That's the blessing that COVID was for me, you know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Everything, was different for everybody, but COVID definitely gave me that opportunity, those first couple of months especially, to reset myself and understand, first, I have no control over what the things that happen in my life. Sometimes things are out of your control, and you just have to understand that and do the best that you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not pressure yourself. And then second, I had to understand that my mind is stronger than my body, because I was going to the gym 5 times a week for the last 5 years, right? I didn't think I was weak at all, but then when when you're mentally hit with a struggle, you're like, hold up, you know what I mean? Hold up.
I will say, struggling mentally is a lot tougher than struggling physically, because usually when you struggle, I'll speak for myself. Usually when you struggle physically, it's like it's a known period of time. You know what to expect, and it's kind of over. And sometimes when you're struggling mentally, it's like you don't necessarily know where those feelings are stemming from. It's a lot of confusion. But I will say too, like 2020 was definitely a wake up call for me too, because prior to that, I didn't really take too much time to really like sit with myself. And it wasn't until I was forced to that I was like, okay, what do I actually want? What, like, who even am I? Like, what are my values? What do I want out of my life? Like, prior to that, it was almost like I was on overdrive to avoid having to do that. And a lot of the anxiety, even early 2020, like when COVID really started to hit, like I definitely struggled with a lot of anxiety just from having to deal with myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like having to work through like different things that you're struggling with and stuff. But I did realize too that a lot of it stemmed from feeling like I had to have so much control over my life. And I remember actually watching a video, it was a sermon actually, where he was talking about for a lot of people, anxiety stems from carrying what he called God weight, something that we're not even physically or mentally built to be able to handle. And then he's like, why are we so confused when we struggle, when we're trying to carry a load that like we're not built to carry or even function with? And then you try to go through day-to-day life with all this mental weight. And he's like, it's because you're carrying God weight. You're acting like the person that has control over everything. But once you let that go and just live your life, and not to say that you like should just, you know, like, oh, I don't have any control over my life, I'm just gonna live it however. But it's realizing where your control ends and where God's takes over.
Dude, I feel like you should have been my therapist. Just from you talking, you know, because like that part is so important.
Yeah.
Is like the God way. I definitely understand that point because I definitely was taking on God way. You know what I mean? Not to say it in a bad way or anything like that. But yeah. So and the majority of the reasons for that was because, you know, I had family stuff going on. I had things with myself. And then it was also a finding point for me. You know what I mean? It was that age. I was at that age. I was like, I think it was
quarter life crisis.
Yeah, exactly. I was 25 actually.
You haven't had that?
Yeah. No. It wasn't no crisis for say. It was
hey,
definitely.
There's no shame in saying that.
Yeah. No, it could be definitely a crisis. You know what I mean?
I like how we just switched up. It wasn't no crisis.
For me,
it could have definitely been a crisis.
It more than 3 months. But if it lasted more than 3 months, it would have been a crisis.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say. That's literally, if it lasts more than your average time, where and I think, you know, a lot of the time when people get depression and anxiety,
what is the average time?
You know what I mean? 3 months time, and you know
it's seasonal depression at that point. If it's 3 months, okay.
That really
the
is.
season is 3 months.
Hey, seasonal depression is still real.
Yeah, it is, and you know, but I'm so glad I figured myself out. I'm so glad I went through what I went through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I honestly, like, you know, I hear people talk about mental health, but no one ever gets down to the actual conversation and of like talking about the integral parts of mental health. And the most important part is figuring out yourself. And that, I think, you know, I went to 3 therapy sessions, right? And all 3 was like an hour long. I talked the entire time.
That's exactly
the therapist didn't say a single word, right? And she was like, interesting. I'm like, what is so interesting? Like, I'm hurting over here, you know what I mean? And then she gave me tissues to cry. I was like, I don't know if I could cry. You know what I mean? Like,
I saved my crying for the showers.
Yeah, no. I'm like, I'm like, it's hard to cry as a nigga. You ugly when you cry as a nigga. But anyway, you can definitely cry though. If you need to cry.
Like, these are the stereotypes we're trying to break.
Yeah. And he reinforces them. Yeah. He's totally reinforcing them. But then he's like, but you can cry too.
You can cry, but I can't.
No. I feel like me crying in front of that white lady would have definitely scared the shit out of her. She would have been like, oh my God, this guy's going through it.
It would have been like that crying, laughing meme that you know, the Mano guy that cries. He's like,
oh, yeah.
Or the Jordan cry, you know what I mean? The Jordan meme, you know what I mean?
What about you? Did you have like an epiphany? COVID epiphany?
Yeah. It happened actually right before COVID hit off. Like, it happened.
9 to 5 niggas don't change. They just stays consistent.
No, I was going to leave my job, though, right before the pandemic. I was going to leave my job and find another role. And for me...
How about you sit sideways, man? Wallahi.
Because I'm trying to.
Because you can't have a conversation with
you guys.
No, yeah, I mean like.
But I'm still checking. It's like when you give a presentation, right? Yeah. If you're keeping eye contact with the person, you say a word or two.
No, I'm rotating. I'm trying to rotate.
Yeah,
but I'm trying.
I didn't say much of it. You know, I had to push you like 4 times.
I understand that, but I'm also trying to keep the conversation in. I'm gonna be here again. You know, it's not. They're not looking for me to be here.
No, but they are looking for you to make contact.
I have.
This is an emotional. So one-on-one when you look at the camera. Okay,
let's go back to this.
Come on. Now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, you done with the coaching?
I'm done. I had to do that, you know. But okay.
No, but I think I had my own epiphany before the pandemic. It was like in the end of 2019. I was thinking about leaving my job because I had slow progress for like 2 years up until that point, 2.5 years up until that point. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I was still in 2 roles that I wasn't really comfortable in, and I wanted to grow, but I wanted to grow quickly, right? So I mentioned to them that I wanted to do something along those lines of being sort of pushed and challenged, or I was looking for another role, and I found another opportunity, right? But I was convinced to stay and decided to stay, right? And I was given more opportunities to grow and sort of risk my intelligence and to be pushed, right? I think that's a huge thing. You have to want to be pushed, right? Or else you won't get out of your comfort zone. You won't. I had that conversation with my older brother. It was about being challenged, right? And you kind of experience that when you change positions in your life, like when you go from high school to college. Mm-hmm. That first freshman year, you don't know what you're getting into, and you start working. You're like, dang, is this really for me? You struggle a bit, but then you start getting the hang of it. You get comfortable in it. You continue, and everything starts to work out. And I wanted to go through something like that again in my career experience. So I mentioned that, and I was given an opportunity, and since then my career's kind of flourished. It's been doing really well.
I'm not gonna lie, he's definitely right. He's been definitely happier, and he seems like, you know, he has a goal in mind lately. You know what I mean? And that's something that's hard to find when you're doing something for such a long time consistently. So I definitely commend you as far as staying consistent, because it takes a lot. Discipline, waking up at 8 a.m. every day to do the work that you do is definitely consistency and discipline. Yeah.
I do. I handle point of sales analytics for suppliers, like major suppliers.
Tell us more about that. How does that work?
It's numbers. You know, numbers getting shifted across different individuals, so they could be informed. It's really just informative decision making, right? And if you want to be a person that makes informative decisions, you need to have all of your ducks in a row. You need to have all of your data sources in line. You have to make all of your information accessible, and to do that, you can either rely on yourself or rely on others to make it happen.
That's dope. You bring up a good point though about growth, because I've found too, like in any area of your life, when you're experiencing like being stagnant, there's a lot of discomfort that comes from that. Almost more discomfort than being uncomfortable because you're growing. And I feel like that's, like, if you think about it, literally anything living at all on Earth is meant to go through cycles and is constantly growing, like everything down from like a tree. You know what I mean? And we have kind of like those same like innate like needs in us to constantly be in some way, shape, or form learning. Mm-hmm. And that's definitely like a goal of mine too, is just never ever to get to a point in my life where I feel comfortable and okay with not expanding what I know.
Yeah, it gets boring. I think life is not meant to be at a point where you're sort of all-knowing. And I think it's impossible. The world changes too much. Mm-hmm. It's ever-changing, like, especially in the direction we're going with climate change and with all the current events in the world. You can't know enough, right? And to stay informed, to stay in the loop is a challenge. And we kind of saw that with a certain individual in office. Like, I'm not going to name anybody, but when that whole experience was going on, I thought we were all going through a point of like exhaustion. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, how can I keep up with the news? How can I know what to do? Like, this feels too much for me. But at that same point, I think some of us found comfort in that. We were like, well, this is too much, but you keep saying this is too much, and you keep doing something that you didn't expect yourself to be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree.
I wish Biden tweeted like Donald Trump, to be honest.
Yeah,
I will say I kind of miss Trump's tweets, just
and
like
and
Twitter
I just miss his personality as well. Dude was reckless with it. He would say whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why we shouldn't want him.
Yeah, nah, he was definitely a character, and that's what he was. You know, he was a character from a clown story. And he did soap operas. You know what I mean, on TV. This guy is somebody who was
lives for the limelight. Yeah,
and somebody that should be on MTV, not the president of the United States.
But I think what he did was very important for us because he brought to light what is possible in that position if you're an individual that doesn't care about the rules, right? Or if you don't care about formality, right? Like we know some savages, right? So imagine a savage getting the mayor role.
Yeah,
that's savage. It just shows you what's possible within the lines of what's been done over the past 400 years.
Yeah, and but it also I think the one thing that he kind of showed us is that if it came to push to shove, he almost got reelected. You know what I'm saying? He, even though we were for 4 years we were saying, oh, this dude will not really get reelected.
Like it was actually scary close.
That's what I'm saying, and that's it. Also highlighted the education level of the United States.
Oh my God, yeah.
You know what I mean? And the individuals that are living here, are they living here to participate in a utopia, or are they living here to participate in a one race country? You know what I mean? And that is something that we have yet to figure out. But I definitely think that it showed a lot about who Americans are and what they are and how uninformed that they are, based on a couple of different things. And it also showed us who's taking the blame for that, and that's the media. You know what I mean? The media is the biggest corruption in America that exists. You know what I mean? People are being fed lies. You're either being misinformed or you're uninformed. You know what I mean? So which one would you pick? Would you pick to be misinformed or uninformed?
That's a tough one. Well, you just got to be smart about your sources, honestly. You can be informed in the proper way, but, I mean, are you getting your sources from Facebook? Or are you getting your sources from, journals? Are you Googling? Are you, going to, reliable news outlets and not, something that's super biased?
Exactly, because hate is only brought out by people that consistently receive the same message from the media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that message definitely should change, and, that's what we were advocating for. But so in general, so where do you see your podcast going in the future, and where do you see yourself headed with the entertainment world?
Well, I mean, I definitely have big visions for my podcast. I hope that it will be as successful as I'm hoping for it to be. And I know that it really just depends on the level of work and my work ethic with that. So I'm excited. I have a couple interviews lined up for this coming month. I will be getting back into it. I'm hoping to have a first episode back up, I think fifth episode back up within 2 weeks from now. So
that's dope.
I'm excited. Yeah. Lots of interviews that aren't people that I've met before, or people that I've even had interactions with before. So I'm excited to get different perspectives about health and wellness. I actually just recently booked a psychiatrist to just talk about mental health and stuff, which is going to be pretty fun. So
that's awesome.
I'm looking forward to that.
That's awesome. They're probably going to expect you to talk the majority of the time. But you know what I mean?
You just got to ask the right questions, right?
Yeah. Just make sure you get them involved, because they're usually listeners. They're not.
They're listeners.
I thought the lady that
am I going to have a therapy session here?
Yeah. Man, I was so surprised. But therapy is so helpful for so many people, especially if you are somebody who doesn't have the characters that you need in your life to be able to get you to talk and help you release all that information that you might want to share with people to feel better about yourself. So we definitely, on this podcast, advocate for better health as far as mental health is concerned. And if we definitely are more than willing to also tell people that are watching this podcast, or people that consistently watch this podcast, to definitely reach out to us if you're going through something. We have been there. Amin has never been depressed before, but I have. Everybody experiences depression in their own little way. But like I said, definitely reach out to us. I have a lot of information as far as depression is concerned. I did a lot of Googling, a lot of YouTubing. So reach
3
out
months
to me.
worth of experience.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, you know, because like when
you can learn a lot in a short period of time.
yeah, you can learn a lot. And the other thing is, as long as you're willing to, like some people, they shy away from their mental health.
Yeah.
For me, even though I was the type of person to be like, mental health doesn't exist before, like, you know, as far as I would probably be like, you don't.
No, that's real though. Yeah.
Because you know, I grew up in Somalia. You know what I'm saying? I seen people die as a child. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So mental health was like
what's mental health?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, yeah.
You know, but you know, sort of in a way, my body, my mind got used to that situation. You know, at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you know, death and stuff like that. There was a different type of situation that was going on in my head, which was causing me to think a lot, right? And that was the mental health, you know, the mental illness in the situation.
This dude, basically to sum it up, he said, I'm used to seeing people dying. I started struggling mentally. I was like, what is this?
Literally what I was about to say.
Bury
Literally.
the body and
Thank
we
you.
move on. But, you know, I can't bury bodies.
Yeah, no. But healing is paying attention to yourself and your routine and your discipline, and changing it and dialing it back. You know, it's changing 1 or 2 things a day about the things that you do can literally impact you so much. You know what I mean? I went to the gym earlier, had a coffee and what are those, cheese Danish? That's why I'm really talkative today. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I bet that's it.
Danish is making
you must be having a cheese Danish every day.
Hey, actually, I don't eat a lot of cheese Danish. Otherwise, I would have a cheese Danish if you do what I mean. If I was eating a lot of cheese Danishes, and that's not body shaming for you. You know what I mean?
You should insert like a how many times Bashar said cheese Danish in that in like 30 seconds.
Cheese Danish.
No, we should talk about how many times Bashar talks about his depression.
No, because it's such a great topic, you know, to explore.
It
and
is,
also
Wrap it.
Yeah. But to wrap this up, Amin is not able to pay attention to the camera. He cannot multitask. That's one thing we learned. But to wrap this up, like I said, right, all jokes aside, thank you so much for stepping in. We've been looking for this type of podcasts, and I'm glad we've had one because we were laughing so much and enjoying this experience.
Yeah, I had a really good time. Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to your podcast. Go ahead and shout it out.
Again, my podcast name is Meaningful Riches. You guys can listen to it anywhere that you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you can find it. I'm there.
Yep. And for visual content, go to Instagram, right? You post
it's just my name, Hebron_Girma.
Okay. And do you have a Instagram for the podcast as well?
I do, yep. Okay. Meaningful Riches Podcast.
We'll put links below.
Yeah, we'll definitely put links below. But like I said,
following is free.
It's $3.99.
Dial in
and you're gonna get a lot of information. So shout out to you, Hebron. Shout out to you,
thank you so much for having me.
for coming through.
A lot of fun for sure. It's always fun.
Yeah, no,
having conversation.
I definitely we gotta catch up more. You know what I'm saying? We gotta definitely kick it more.
For sure.
In the future, and we'll definitely do that off camera. But yeah, have a good night. Bye, guys.